Hi, I'm Paul Psolka, Ivy Masters Learning Center at ivymasters.com. And today we're going to look at Test 1, Section 1, number 22. Now, shout out to my Thursday 6 to 8 class. Number 4 and 11, there's already videos for, so you could just search those, go to videos, and search those numbers, and you'll find those videos. But for number 22, it reads, the authors use the word backbone in line 3 and 39 to indicate what? Now, what we'd call this is a double-line vocab and context question. At least that's what I call it. Why? Double line because it's two lines, line 3 and line 39. Vocab and context because it's really, usually it says most nearly means when it's vocabulary and context. This one says to indicate that, but it's still asking you what backbone is indicating within the context of the passage, which is, it's not exactly what backbone most nearly means, what it's indicating or referring to. So we're going to go to the answer choice. What I've found, we're going to go to the passage. What I've found is that when you're doing this type of question, you want to see what other word is used in both contexts, and that's going to be a key to answering the question. We see two of these double-line vocab and context questions on test 1. We don't see them again until one of the later tests, and so there's only really 3 instances that I could think of where we see this double-line vocab and context type question. So, going to line 3, backbone. The molecule consists of a very long chain, the backbone of which consists of a regular alternation of sugar and phosphate groups. So, there you have it in line 3. And then we go down to line 39. The phosphate sugar backbone of our model is completely regular. And notice you saw regular both contexts, but any sequence of pairs of bases can fit into the structure. So we got to think, what is backbone? It says regular, a regular alternation of sugar or phosphate groups. So it sounds like what you're getting is a sugar group, a phosphate group, a sugar group, a phosphate group. So it's like, to use an analogy, if you had beads on a bracelet, let's say it was red and then green and then red and then green, a regular alternation, you're never going to have 2 reds, you're never going to have 2 greens. So it's going to be a red and a green. Take that with us to the answer choices. For number 22, answer choice A, only very long chains of DNA can be taken from an organism with a spinal column. Well, that's a decoy answer. When students see backbone, they think that that's your spine, but there's no spinal column mentioned there, and it looks like we're not talking about the scale of an organism. We're just talking about DNA, which is on a much smaller scale. If we look at answer choice B, the main structure of a chain of DNA molecule is composed of repeating units. Now that actually looks like a good answer choice because, like we said, if it's a regular alternation of sugar and phosphate groups, I believe it said, then it's going to go sugar, phosphate, sugar, phosphate. Actually, let me see. Is that what it said? Sugar and phosphate groups. That's right. Okay. So that looks good. And also, you could think of a regular polygon. If you were to spin like a regular triangle would have 3 60-degree angles. A regular quadrilateral would be a square. It would have 4 90-degree angles. And if you were to spin it, you get 90, 90, 90, 60, 60, 60. So it doesn't change. So regular alternation, it's going to be sugar, phosphate, sugar, phosphate. Answer choice C. A chain of DNA molecule consists entirely of phosphates or of sugars. So if that's the answer, then you're going to have a DNA molecule that's phosphates, another DNA molecule that's sugars. And when we see here, it says the backbone consists of regular alternation of sugar and phosphate groups. So it sounds like one chain of DNA has both sugar and phosphate groups in it, not entirely phosphate or sugar groups. Okay. And then answer choice D, nitrogenous bases form the main structural unit of DNA. Going back. If we read on a little bit more, it says here, to each sugar is attached a nitrogenous base, which can be of 4 different types, and that goes on and on and on. Well, if it's an alternation of sugar and phosphate groups, and just to the sugar is attached nitrogenous base, then it looks like only half of it has nitrogenous base attached to it, just the sugar, not the phosphate. So we couldn't say it's the main structural unit of DNA based on that. Answer choice B is your answer. Thank you for joining us today. If you like this video, click like. You could share it with someone who has trouble with science passages, vocabulary and context passages, or these rare double-line vocab and context questions. If there's any question you'd like to see answered from any official PSAT or ACT or SAT, leave that in the comments. I'd be happy to shoot a video on it. And click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Have a great day.